The Power of Imagination, Unlocking Creativity and Success, by Audiobook Manna. Introduction. Every great achievement in history began in the unseen world of the mind. Long before the wheel turned, the plane took flight, or the internet connected billions, these ideas lived quietly in the imagination of a person who dared to believe they were possible. Imagination is not just child's play, nor is it a random gift reserved for dreamers and artists. It is the invisible canvas on which your future is painted. It is the birthplace of innovation, the spark behind movements, and the power that transforms ordinary people into world changers. Yet most people underestimate this treasure. They dismiss their imaginative thoughts as just ideas, or label them unrealistic. But here is the truth. Every empire, every invention, every breakthrough was once considered impossible, until someone imagined it and chose to act on it. This book is about unlocking that same power within you. It is about learning how to see beyond what is and create what can be. Whether you are seeking growth in your career, your relationships, your finances, or your spiritual walk, imagination is the key that opens doors to possibilities you never thought existed. As you listen, I want you to challenge the limits you've unconsciously placed on yourself. Let your mind wander into uncharted territory. Dream bigger. Believe deeper. And most importantly, allow your imagination to become the fuel that drives you toward the life you are meant to live. Your imagination is not just a tool. It is your superpower. And if you will learn how to use it wisely, you will discover that nothing in your life will remain the same. Welcome to a journey that will stretch your mind, expand your vision, and awaken the power of imagination within you. Chapter 1. Unlocking the mind's hidden treasure. Imagination is not a random ability humans stumbled upon. It is a gift from God. When the Bible says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," it highlights the power of thoughts and inner vision. God gave us imagination as a tool to shape, create, and bring forth what does not yet exist. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When God created the heavens and the earth, he spoke words. But behind those words was vision. He saw light before he called it into existence. He pictured man before forming him from dust. That same creative spark was placed inside you. Imagination allows you to participate in creation. It is the canvas of the mind where your faith paints possibilities and your actions bring them to life. Sadly, many people dismiss imagination as mere wishful thinking. But in reality, it is the engine of invention, the seed of progress, and the foundation of transformation. Ignoring imagination is like burying a divine gift. Your future begins in your mind before it shows up in your reality. Every time you allow yourself to imagine a different tomorrow, you are shaping the path toward it. Think of imagination as the architect's blueprint. No building ever rises without a plan, and no life transforms without vision. If you imagine yourself always failing, struggling, or being stuck, you unknowingly program your mind to follow that script. On the other hand, when you see yourself overcoming challenges, walking in abundance, and a fulfilling purpose, your mind begins to search for ways to bring that vision to pass. Science calls this the reticular activating system, RAS, the part of your brain that filters information based on what you focus on. Spiritually, it's the principle of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you consistently imagine a better future, you are giving your faith a target. This is why some people remain stuck. Not because they lack ability, but because they lack vision. They live day to day without daring to see beyond their current situation. But the truth is, you cannot rise higher than the picture you carry of yourself on the inside. History is filled with men and women who turned imagination into empires. Consider Walt Disney. Before Disneyland was ever built, he envisioned a place where families could come together and experience magic. Many called him foolish, but today his imagination has become a global empire. Or think about Thomas Edison. He imagined a world lit by electricity when people were still relying on candles and gas lamps. His persistence and imagination gave birth to the light bulb, revolutionizing the way we live. Closer to home, entrepreneurs across Africa have imagined possibilities where others saw limitations. Aliko Dango, for example, imagined not just selling goods, but building industries that would supply an entire continent. Today, his imagination has made him one of the most influential business figures in the world. These stories remind us that imagination is not reserved for special people. Every empire, every invention, every breakthrough started in the private space of the mind before it was celebrated publicly. Imagination is your God-given treasure, your unseen wealth. It is the seedbed of your future, shaping the direction of your life long before the results appear. If others could build legacies and empires through the power of imagination, so can you. The only question is, will you dare to unlock the gift God placed inside you? Chapter 2. The Foundation of All Creation. Behind every great achievement in history lies one simple truth. It began as an idea. Airplanes, skyscrapers, smartphones, businesses, and even nations were first. Invisible seeds in someone's mind before they became visible to the world. Imagination is the spark that ignites every creation. When the Wright brothers dreamed of flying, people mocked them. Man was not created to fly, they were told. Yet, their imagination refused to accept limits. Today, air travel is so normal that we barely stop to think about how revolutionary their dream once was. The same is true of business visionaries. Before Amazon became the global giant it is today, Jeff Bezos imagined an online bookstore that would reach people everywhere. That spark of imagination laid the foundation for what has now grown into an empire that touches nearly every aspect of modern life. This truth is unshakable. Nothing exists in reality without first existing in the imagination. Your business, your career, your future success, all of them depend on what you dare to see in your inner world before they show up in the outer world. Think of imagination as an architect's sketch. No one pours concrete, lays bricks, or erects steel beams without a plan. In the same way, imagination is the invisible blueprint of your life. You cannot build what you have not first designed in your mind. Your mind is constantly building pictures. If those pictures are filled with fear, lack, and defeat, then your life will unconsciously move toward that outcome. But if your inner blueprint is filled with courage, wealth, and impact, you begin aligning your actions with that reality. The beauty of imagination is that it has no limits. You can be in a small room, yet imagine yourself addressing the world. You can be broke today, yet imagine yourself running a successful business tomorrow. The invisible blueprint becomes a magnet that draws opportunities, people, and resources toward you. The Bible itself begins with a story of imagination. In Genesis, the earth was formless and void, yet God envisioned light, land, and life before speaking it into existence. Creation itself is proof that imagination is divine. Another striking example is the Tower of Babel, Genesis 11. God himself acknowledged the power of human imagination. Nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. This shows us that once people unite imagination with action, possibilities multiply. In modern times, we see the same principle in action. Elon Musk imagined rockets that could land themselves, a thought many experts dismissed as fantasy. Today, reusable rockets are real, and space travel has taken a new direction. Oprah Winfrey imagined herself rising above poverty, abuse, and rejection to inspire millions. And today, she is a global voice of influence. These stories prove that imagination is not only spiritual, but also practical. It has been at work since the beginning of time, shaping lives, societies, and futures. Imagination is the foundation of all creation. Whether in business, invention, or personal success, everything begins as an unseen idea before becoming visible reality. God gave you imagination not just to dream, but to design, to create the invisible blueprint of your future. The question is, are you allowing your imagination to design the life you want? Or are you letting fear and doubt build the blueprint for your future? Chapter 3. Breaking the Chains of Limited Thinking. Every child is born with a vivid imagination. A stick can become a sword. A cardboard box transforms into a castle, and a simple drawing can represent a whole world. But somewhere along the way, that natural creativity begins to fade. Why? Because society, culture, and even well-meaning family members teach us to be realistic. People suppress their imagination because they fear standing out. Many are taught that dreaming big is foolish or arrogant. Teachers may discourage ideas that don't fit the curriculum. Parents, out of fear, may push their children to choose safe careers rather than pursuing passions. Over time, the mind learns to shrink itself to fit within the limits others have set. The tragedy is that imagination is not lost. It is buried under years of conditioning. People stop imagining because they've convinced themselves it's childish or impractical. Yet, without imagination, they live small lives, trapped by invisible walls they didn't even build themselves. Fear is the biggest enemy of imagination. The fear of failure whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" The fear of judgment asks, "What will people say if I try this and fail?" Doubt then joins in, poisoning the mind with thoughts like, "Maybe I'm not smart enough, not connected enough, not talented enough." But here's the truth. Every successful person you admire has failed, doubted themselves, and faced fear. The difference is that they refused to let those voices control them. Walt Disney was fired from his first newspaper job for lacking creativity. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. The key to overcoming fear and doubt is not pretending they don't exist. It is acting in spite of them. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to move forward, even when fear is loud. Each step you take silences doubt and proves to your mind that you are capable of more than you believed. Past failures also have a way of chaining people to small thinking. But failure is not a stop sign. It's a stepping stone. Every failure carries a lesson that, if embraced, pushes you closer to success. Failure refines your imagination, forcing you to find new solutions and dream bigger than before. How to unlearn small thinking. Unlearning small thinking begins with awareness. You must first notice the limits you've unconsciously accepted. Do you believe wealth is not for people like me? Do you think success is reserved for the lucky or connected? These beliefs are not truths. They are lies passed down from others. To break free, you must challenge these thoughts daily. Replace "I can't" with "How can I?" Instead of saying "It's impossible," Train yourself to ask, what would make this possible? These simple shifts expand your imagination and open doors where you once saw walls. Another way to unlearn small thinking is to surround yourself with expanders, people, books, and environments that stretch your mind. When you hear stories of people who started with nothing and built empires, it shatters the belief that success is unreachable. When you step into spaces that feel bigger than you, your imagination adjusts upward. Finally, practice visualization. See yourself beyond your current circumstances. Imagine yourself in the life you desire, not once, but daily. As you feed your mind with bigger pictures, small thinking loses its grip. Limited thinking is the invisible prison that keeps people from living their true potential. But the chains can be broken by confronting fear, silencing doubt, reframing failure, and unlearning small beliefs. You unlock your imagination once again. You were not created for smallness. Your imagination is the key to enlarging your life. And when you dare to think bigger, you break the chains that have held generations captive. Chapter 4. The creative power of visualization. Visualization is more than just a motivational buzzword. It is a practical tool that can reshape your life. Every successful person, from athletes to entrepreneurs, uses it to rehearse success before it happens. The mind has a unique power. When you visualize something vividly, your brain registers it almost as if it has already happened. This creates confidence, clarity, and a mental roadmap toward your goal. So, how do you use visualization daily? Start by setting aside 5 to 10 minutes each morning in a quiet space. Close your eyes and picture the life you want. Imagine the details, the sounds, the colors, the emotions. If your goal is financial freedom, picture yourself logging into your bank account and seeing abundance. If you dream of being a public speaker, see yourself on stage, speaking with confidence as the audience applauds. The key is consistency. Visualization should become as natural as brushing your teeth. When done daily, it rewires your subconscious to align your actions with your dreams. Pair your visualization with affirmations, like I am capable of building wealth, or I walk boldly into opportunities. This strengthens the belief that what you're seeing in your mind is not fantasy, but your future in progress. Now, let's clear a common misconception. Visualization is not the same as aimless daydreaming. Daydreaming often drifts without purpose. It might feel pleasant, but usually lacks structure or direction. For example, imagining yourself living in a mansion without connecting it to a plan is just wishful thinking. Productive imagination, on the other hand, is intentional. It is rooted in goals and backed by action. When you visualize productively, you don't just imagine the end result, you also picture the process. If your dream is to run a business, productive visualization involves seeing yourself, making decisions, solving problems, and growing your brand step by step. The difference is simple. Daydreaming entertains the mind, while productive imagination equips the mind. One leaves you empty. The other fills you with purpose and direction. That's why it's crucial to guide your imagination with focus and intent. Like muscles, your imagination grows stronger the more you exercise it. Here are a few practical exercises to sharpen your visualization skills. 1. Vision journaling. Write down, in detail, the life you want. Don't just write, I want to be successful. Instead, describe what success looks like. The home you live in, the impact you're making, the people around you. The act of writing makes your vision more concrete. 2. Sensory visualization. When visualizing, engage all 5 senses. Don't just see your dream. Hear the sounds, smell the air, feel the textures. For example, if you're visualizing a vacation in Italy, imagine the taste of the food, the sound of church bells, the warmth of the sun. The more senses you involve, the stronger the imprint on your mind. 3. Future self-conversations. Close your eyes and picture yourself 5 or 10 years from now, living the life you desire. Ask your future self, how did you get here? What choices did you make? Let the answers flow naturally. This exercise often reveals practical steps you can take today. 4. Daily mental rehearsal. Just as athletes mentally rehearse their moves before competing, you can rehearse your daily goals. Before an important meeting, visualize yourself walking in confidently, speaking clearly, and leaving a strong impression. This prepares your mind for real-life execution. Visualization is the bridge between imagination and reality. When used properly, it transforms vague desires into detailed blueprints. It's not about escaping reality, it's about shaping it. By practicing daily, avoiding the trap of idle daydreaming, and strengthening your imaginative muscles with exercises, you prepare your mind to lead your life where you want it to go. Your mind is already a powerful projector. The question is, what movie are you playing on its screen every day? Choose to play the vision of your best life, and watch how reality begins to align with it. Chapter 5. Imagination and Faith. Partners in Possibility. Imagination is powerful, but without faith, it often remains an untapped dream. Faith is what gives breath and heartbeat to the images we carry in our minds. It transforms maybe into must, and someday into soon. While imagination paints the vision, faith gives you the courage to walk toward it. Think of it this way. Imagination is like a seed, but faith is the water and sunlight that help it grow. You can imagine a business, a new invention, or a transformed life. But if you don't believe it's possible for you, your vision stays locked away. Faith takes what you imagine and anchors it in the realm of possibility. Faith also keeps you moving when the path is uncertain. Many people imagine a brighter future, but the fear of failure paralyzes them. Faith whispers, "It may not be easy, but it is possible." That conviction allows you to act boldly, even when you can't yet see results. Belief is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. You can have the most vivid dream, but if your inner voice keeps saying, "This isn't for me, I'm not good enough. People like me never succeed," your imagination gets sabotaged. Successful people share one thing in common: unshakable belief. Walt Disney was fired from his first newspaper job for lacking imagination. Yet he believed in his vision enough to create Disneyland and an empire that continues to grow. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but his belief that success was inevitable kept him experimenting. Belief is not blind optimism. It is trust that the images in your mind are not fantasies but previews of what is possible. When your belief matches your imagination, your actions align, your energy shifts, and opportunities begin to appear. Ask yourself, do I truly believe in the pictures I hold in my mind? Or do I secretly doubt them? Strengthening belief is about reprogramming your inner dialogue. Instead of saying, "I can't," you say, "I'm on my way." Instead of "this is too big for me," you say, "I am growing into it." For those who walk with God, prayer and imagination are meant to work hand in hand. Prayer invites divine partnership, while imagination provides the vision of what you're asking for. Together, they form a spiritual and practical force. When you pray, don't just speak words, visualize the answer. If you're asking for healing, see yourself healthy and whole. If you're asking for financial breakthrough, see yourself free from debt and walking in abundance. The Bible reminds us in Hebrews 11, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means imagination creates the picture, and faith makes it evidence in your spirit. Prayer also keeps your imagination aligned with God's will. Not every picture in your mind is meant to be pursued, but prayer filters and refines your vision. When you combine them, your dreams gain both clarity and divine backing. Imagination and faith are not separate forces. They are partners in possibility. Imagination allows you to see what could be, and faith empowers you to believe it can and will happen. Together, they make you unstoppable. As you move forward, don't just imagine your best life. Believe in it. Don't just pray with words. Pray with pictures. And don't just hope quietly. Act boldly, knowing that faith and imagination together will carry you into realms you never thought possible. Chapter 6. Turning ideas into reality. Ideas are beautiful, but without action, they remain only daydreams. Many people have great visions, but never experience them because they don't know how to take the first step. Acting on imaginative ideas requires courage, the willingness to move even when the path isn't fully clear. The secret is starting small. You don't need to figure everything out at once. The moment you receive an idea, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to bring this closer to reality? If you imagine writing a book, start by writing one page. If you see yourself starting a business, begin with market research or creating a name. Action, no matter how small, builds momentum and brings clarity. Faith without works is dead, and imagination without action is powerless. The world doesn't reward the most creative thinkers, but the ones who dare to act. Start messy if you must. Perfection comes with progress. Once you've taken the first step, the next stage is structuring your vision into a plan. A step-by-step plan acts like a roadmap, guiding your imagination into execution. Without it, you may drift or get overwhelmed by the size of your dream. Here's a simple way to create a plan. 1. Define the goal clearly. Write down the exact outcome you want. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Instead say, I want to launch a skincare brand that makes X in sales in 12 months. 2. Break it into milestones. Large goals can feel intimidating. Divide them into smaller stages. For example, month 1, research suppliers. Month 2, design packaging. Month 3, launch first product. 3, assign daily or weekly tasks. Consistency grows from small, repeated actions. If your goal is to write a book, plan to write 500 words every day. 4, track and adjust. No plan is perfect. Review your progress often and make changes as needed. Flexibility is a strength, not a weakness. By creating structured steps, you make the dream less intimidating and more achievable. A vision without a plan is a wish. A vision with a plan becomes a project in motion. Dreams don't manifest through bursts of excitement, but through steady commitment. Discipline is choosing to act even when you don't feel motivated. Consistency is repeating those actions long enough to see results. Every great achiever mastered these two keys. Athletes train daily, whether they feel like it or not. Writers commit to writing even on uninspired days. Entrepreneurs keep showing up, tweaking, and pushing forward despite setbacks. It's not talent alone that separates dreamers from achievers. It's persistence. Imagine planting a seed. If you water it one day and forget it the next, it withers. But if you water it daily, even in small amounts, growth becomes inevitable. The same applies to your ideas. Don't expect overnight success. Choose small daily habits that align with your dream and stick to them. Over time, those habits compound into massive results. When your imagination is fueled by action, structured by planning and sustained by discipline, manifestation becomes a natural outcome. Turning ideas into reality is a journey of courage, clarity, and consistency. You begin by daring to act on your imagination. Then you build structure through step-by-step planning. And finally, you nurture your dream with discipline and consistency until it manifests. Remember this truth. Your ideas came to you for a reason. They are not random. They are invitations to create, to build, to impact. Don't let them die in your mind. Act, plan, persist, and watch your imagination become reality. Chapter 7, Protecting Your Imagination. Your imagination is like a garden. What you allow into it determines what will grow. If you expose your mind constantly to fear, doubt, gossip, or negativity, weeds will take over and choke your creative seeds. Guarding your imagination means being intentional about what you allow to influence your thoughts. Negativity comes in many forms. The media you consume, the words people speak over you, or even your own inner voice. Some environments are filled with people who constantly say, "That's impossible," or "You can't do that." If you don't guard your imagination, these voices will slowly weaken your belief. Just as a farmer puts a fence around his field to protect it from animals, you must put boundaries around your imagination. That means filtering conversations, limiting toxic entertainment, and even challenging your own limiting thoughts. Every time you sense negativity, replace it with a faith-filled thought. Instead of "I can't," declare, "With God's help, I can." Instead of "It's too late," remind yourself, "It's never too late" to start. When you guard your imagination, you protect the very soil of your future. No seed grows in isolation. Even the strongest seed will die if planted in poor soil. The same is true for your imagination. Your environment shapes what your mind produces. If you spend most of your time in a discouraging or toxic environment, your ideas will struggle to grow. But when you surround yourself with positive influences, supportive people, and inspiring spaces, your imagination will thrive. Your relationships matter deeply. Ask yourself, do the people around me fan my flames or put out my fire? The right friends, mentors, or even books can spark creativity you didn't know you had. On the other hand, relationships filled with jealousy, criticism, or constant fear can poison your imagination. This is why successful people are intentional about their circles. They seek out people who challenge them to think bigger, not smaller. They place themselves in environments that energize, not drain. If you want to protect your imagination, choose your company wisely. Even your physical environment plays a role. A cluttered, chaotic space often produces cluttered thoughts, but a clean, organized, and inspiring space helps your imagination flow freely. That's why many creators and inventors set aside special spaces for their work. A studio, an office, or even a quiet corner. Your imagination grows best when planted in the right soil of environment and relationships. Protecting your imagination isn't only about avoiding negativity. It's also about nurturing your mind so it stays fertile for new ideas. Just like a farmer enriches the soil with nutrients, you must feed your imagination with things that inspire, educate, and uplift. Here are a few practices to keep your mind fertile. 1. Read and learn constantly. Books, articles, and teachings open new worlds of thought. The more knowledge you consume, the richer your imagination becomes. 2. Meditate and reflect. Take quiet moments to let your mind wander and process. Reflection is like giving your imagination time to breathe. 3. Expose yourself to creativity. Visit museums, listen to music, watch documentaries, or travel if you can. New experiences spark fresh ideas. 4. Pray and journal. Prayer aligns your imagination with God's purpose, while journaling captures ideas before they fade away. 5. Rest and recharge. A tired mind struggles to imagine. Sleep, rest, and recreation refresh your creativity. By intentionally feeding your mind with the right input, you ensure that it remains fertile ground where great ideas can take root and flourish. Your imagination is one of your most precious gifts, but it is also fragile. To protect it, you must guard against negativity, surround yourself with the right environment and relationships, and constantly enrich your mind with positive influences. When you treat your imagination like a garden, feeding it with life-giving inputs and shielding it from destructive forces, it will reward you with abundant creativity and endless possibilities. Remember, what you allow into your mind today shapes the future you will walk into tomorrow. Chapter 8. Living a life beyond limits. Imagination is not meant to be a hidden treasure locked in your mind. It's meant to be lived out daily. When you learn to apply imagination to every area of your life, you begin to experience a life without limits. In your career, imagination is what separates leaders from followers. Many people stay stuck in jobs they don't like because they cannot picture a different future. But when you allow your imagination to expand, you begin to see possibilities, a new business idea, a creative way to solve problems at work, or even a different career path entirely. Imagination helps you see beyond what is to what could be. Every great invention, from airplanes to smartphones, started as an imaginative idea in someone's mind. In your relationships, imagination allows you to build stronger connections. You can envision a healthier marriage, deeper friendships, and even reconciliation where there has been conflict. Instead of reacting to others only based on current reality, you can picture what relationships could become if nurtured with love, patience, and effort. Couples who dream together often stay together because they share a common vision of what life can be. In your personal growth, imagination is your fuel. To improve yourself, you first have to see yourself differently. If you want to break bad habits, you need to imagine a version of yourself who lives with discipline. If you want to grow spiritually, you must picture yourself walking closer with God. The more clearly you imagine, the better the more determined you become to work toward it. Imagination gives direction to your career, depth to your relationships, and meaning to your growth. History is full of people who dared to live beyond limits through the power of imagination. Take Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. If he had only seen failure, he would have quit. But his imagination showed him the possibility of light filling every home, and that vision carried him forward. Or think of Nelson Mandela. Even while imprisoned for 27 years, he never lost the ability to imagine a free South Africa. His body was confined, but his imagination was limitless, and eventually, that vision became a reality that changed the world. Even in everyday life, testimonies of people who applied imagination are everywhere. A struggling single mother imagines a better life for her children and starts a small business. An ordinary student imagines becoming a doctor and studies tirelessly until the dream is real. A young man imagines building a company and creates opportunities not just for himself, but for hundreds of others. These stories remind us that imagination is not just for the rich, the famous, or the powerful. It is for anyone willing to believe beyond boundaries. The difference between those who live ordinary lives and those who change. The world is often one thing, imagination applied with courage. Living beyond limits requires courage, because imagination will always stretch you beyond what feels comfortable. You will have to think bigger, take risks, and step out of the box that society tries to put you in. But the reward is a life filled with purpose, growth, and impact. This is your call to live boldly with imagination. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the approval of others. Begin to use your imagination daily. Picture the life you want to live, the goals you want to achieve, and the person you want to become. Then act on it. Step by step, decision by decision. Imagination without action is only daydreaming. But imagination combined with faith and consistent effort can transform your life. God has given you this gift so you can see possibilities that others can't. Don't waste it. Dare to imagine a life beyond your current reality. Dare to break free from the limits of fear, doubt, and tradition. Dare to see yourself as capable of achieving greatness. And then live boldly until your imagination becomes your reality. You are not meant to live a small, limited life. You are meant to live fully, creatively, and boldly. When you apply imagination to your career, relationships, and growth, and when you dare to live beyond the boundaries others accept, you step into the life God designed for you. So, go forward with courage. Live boldly with imagination, and never forget, the limits of your life are only the limits of your imagination. Conclusion: the journey of imagination. Imagination is not a luxury. It is the foundation of every great achievement. From the first spark of creativity in your mind to the final manifestation in reality, imagination is the bridge between where you are and where you can be. Throughout this book, you've discovered how imagination unlocks hidden treasures, builds the foundation of creation, breaks limited thinking, fuels visualization, partners with faith, and drives action. You've seen how it needs protection and how it can take you beyond the limits that confine ordinary lives. The truth is simple. Your imagination is your greatest asset. It is God's gift to you, designed to help you live fully, grow continually, and impact the world around you. But like any gift, its value depends on how you use it. Imagination must not remain a dream. It must be partnered with faith, discipline, and action. This is your invitation to stop limiting yourself. Your past failures do not define your future. The opinions of others do not set your boundaries. The only limits that exist are the ones you accept. Choose instead to live boldly, to dream bigger, and to imagine a life worth living. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait until the conditions are perfect. Begin now. Remember, small, consistent steps, powered by imagination, create massive change. You are more powerful than you know. The dreams in your heart are not random. They are seeds of possibility planted by God Himself. Protect them, nurture them, and act on them. The world needs what you carry. Your ideas, your vision, your imagination. They are not just for you. They are for generations to come. Live boldly. Imagine without limits, and keep pushing until your vision becomes your reality. This is your time. This is your call. Dare to imagine, dare to believe, and dare to live beyond limits.